So I stumbled upon this piece of paper earlier today, quite literally stumbled upon, and it's kind of old, I guess. It's it's only January 8th, or January 1st, 2008. I was walking home from work because I got sent home early. It was a slow night, so yeah, got sent home early. That kind of sucks, actually. But on the way home, I stumbled upon this. I walked over it and almost tripped, and I was gonna just consider it just an old newspaper or magazine that wasn't worth looking at. But then I decided, hey, why not pick it up? Knowledge is always important, no matter where it comes from. And it's kind of interesting that I did, because it is a Jehovah's Kingdom Hall, the Watchtower edition. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the cover that well. It's kind of ripped, but yeah. And here's a small excerpt from the first title. We are pleased to inform you that beginning with this issue, there will be some changes in the format of the Watchtower. Before we explain what will be different, let us mention that we will remain the same. Okay. Here's what it says about evolution. The Bible reveals how such teachings as evolution become popular. It says, there will be a period of time when they will not put up with the healthful teaching, but, in accord with their own desires, they will accumulate teachers for themselves to have their ears tickled, and they will turn their ears away from the truth, whereas they will only be turned aside for false stories. Really, these are the people who believe in talking snakes, unicorns, and dragons. But it's, yeah, real crazy that we found fossil evidence, and, you know, well, but I'm getting to this. I'm getting ahead of myself. Further on in this, hang on. Teachers of evolution are not often motivated, not by the facts, but by their own desires, perhaps a desire to be accepted by a scientific community in which evolution is orthodox doctrine. Professor of biochemistry Michael B., who has spent most of his life studying the complex internal functions of living cells, explained that for those who teach the evolution of cell structure have no basis for their claims. Could evolution occur at this tiny molecular level? Molecular evolution is not based on scientific authority, he wrote. There is no publication in the scientific literature in prestigious journals specialty journals or books that describes how molecular evolution of any real, complex biochemical system either did occur or even might have occurred. The assertion of the Darwinian molecular evolution is merely a bluster. Okay. 2 words. Galapagos Islands. They are witnessing birds turning into new species pretty much every day. Molecular evolution. Also, there are many, many scientific journals and textbooks that have evolution. Also, even if there weren't, that's the beauty of science, is not just following some book written 300 years ago. Even Darwin got a few things wrong. We understand this. But instead of being called Darwinians, as they so love to call us, we're not following somebody. We're merely breaking new headway. If you notice, scientists don't really get pissed off when you prove them wrong. They just say, okay, well, I understand I was wrong. Now let's go after the facts. See, we're not trying to debate theism. Scientists are only really trying to go after the facts, and that just happens to be in, accordance with truth instead of these false stories of the Bible. Now, this is really kind of weird. This is really kind of weird to me. But anyway, let's go on. If evolutions lack explanations, why do they preach their ideas so laudably? Fahey explains. Many people, including many important and well-respected scientists, just don't want there to be anything beyond nature. Okay, let's look at it like this, alright? I've already explained, in my own words, why God can't possibly exist. If you haven't seen it, then let me explain one more time. God can't possibly exist because the definition of existence is something that is composed of either matter or energy. If it's composed by either matter or energy, then it must be proven through experiments, and also it's bound by physical laws and the laws of time. Now, By this definition of existence, God cannot possibly exist because God is something obviously metaphysical that cannot be proven by either experimentation and is not, by definition, bound by the laws of time or the laws of physics. Now, here's another thing. Even if there's a God that's above us, he's still bound by physical laws and the laws of time. It might be a higher intelligence. Maybe aliens did create us. Okay, I'm not opposed to this. If there's evidence of that, that's cool. But either way, it's still bound by the laws of time and the laws of physics. Now, if this is true, then there's really no need for this ultimate creator because, well, we're doing quite fine on our own, thank you. And also, if you can't perform miracles, such as things outside the laws of time and physics, then obviously you don't really have a need. But there is evidence for evolution. We found many evidence, and we are continuing to find evidence for evolution. Maybe you just are afraid that there isn't a heaven. Maybe you are just afraid that your false stories aren't true and that there really is no God. Maybe that is compromising your own beliefs in what the truth is. Have you thought about that? Maybe you haven't. And I haven't read all this. I found this. Yeah, wow. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'll read a bit more. I'll read a little bit more later on when I've studied this a little bit more, but that's something that just caught my attention, and I figured I would expose that. But if you guys remember the Pennsylvania trial where Behe and Ken Miller went off, you should really check into that because Ken Miller really refuted and debunked everything that Behe had to say. And the judge in that trial actually spoke rather biased against Behe, even though the judge was a creationist. He said that what they were doing, and I'm not going into that trial right now. I just figured I'd let you guys know that Behe was definitely debunked and refuted throughout that whole trial, and even the judge was in utter awe of Behe's incompetence, really. So yeah, I'll continue reading this, and I might bring you a little bit more later. Alright, so that's my video, and peace be with you.